Is there anything that you've done in the past or that you think maybe just helps people around you, maybe colleagues? What do you think are things that someone can do to help them feel more free to be more of their authentic self? I know we talked about the possibility modeling.
Yeah,
Is there anything else that maybe you've done in the past or you've seen or that people have done for you?
I think if everybody allows folks like the space and the opportunity to get to know your colleagues and like get to know who's working with you and who's around you is like super important. A lot of like active listening is super important. Again, like, when for me, feeling very isolated or being the only person who might look like me, what that's done to me in the past has made me water myself down or made me kind of like want to conform to maybe the more standard or general way of approaching this work, right? And this is just very hard to think about in the virtual context. But I know for me, sharing meals with like colleagues and like engaging in like informal spaces. So like lunchtime breaks, little opportunities to like talk to my colleagues so they know more about who I am. I know more about who they are. I think for me, allowed me to kind of like be more authentic and become comfortable being authentic because in kind of like sharing space with my colleagues and like just chatting informally about like life and like work and like etc. just allows me to like humanize my colleagues. They humanize me. And I think that allows both of us to continue showing up to the work authentically. And the more I share on that like colleague level about like who I am, it allows me to now just gives myself permission to like be who I am because I'm sharing who I am, if that makes sense. So like a lot of communication and dialogue and the spaces and the opportunities to create that dialogue. I know in one of my workplaces, what was really helpful for me is like forming a peer group. We were a group of like people of color who are also mostly queer and trans, and we just formed an informal like lunch group where we kind of like got together and chatted and like talked about the work and like what we're up to in life. And in an agency where we were like one of the 5 or 6 folks who looked like us, it was really helpful to have that space, right? And then when we are not in that space, we can just know who to call to for support, who our peers were. So yeah, just really carving out your space in that workplace if you can, and finding the support internally and externally, I think can really help in being your authentic self.
And then when you go back to work, even if they're not there with you, it still feels like you're less alone, right?
Exactly. Exactly.